Welcome back, friends, to another reading for the collective, the first one for February. I'm filming this on my birthday, so I'm excited to see how that energy coagulates with the energy of the collective for today. So we'll begin, like we always do, by focusing on whatever it is that you need insight or guidance in, and I will offer a different perspective. There is another way of seeing, there is always a different way of seeing, and I am just offering a different lens through which to look. I'm not claiming to know the future. I don't intend for these to be prescriptive, but if you found your way here, then there might be something for you here. So, focusing on that intention, taking 3 deep breaths together in through the nose and out through the mouth, breathing in and out. 2 more times, breathing in and out. And last time, breathing in and out. So let's see what the cards have to say. Today is also in the, I guess, waning of the full moon that we had over the weekend. So maybe there's some of that energy that is still potent here. It's also right around the time of Imbolc. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Midwinter. Maybe there are things that are thawing within you, literally or metaphorically. Okay. These babies came out first. Page of Swords reversed. 9 of Pentacles. There's that thawing. Knight of Swords reversed. I like where this is going. The Hermit, one of my faves. And Knight of Wands. I want to talk about these swords reversed first. And typically we can look at reversals as a blockage or some kind of invitation to do whatever the opposite of the card is. And right side up, especially with the Knight of Swords, we see a lot of movement. There's a lot of energy here. Knights are all about action. However, the fact that these are the only two that come up reversed, the Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords, and in so many of the previous readings, which you can find here, or maybe here. In so many of the previous readings I've been doing for this collective, there's been this idea about getting out of your head, or at the very, very least, becoming aware of the thoughts that you're having and the effect that those have on the reality outside of yourself. Your thoughts create your reality. I'm not saying anything new here that you don't already know, and you likely already do know that if you found your way here. The fact that these are reversed, though, it's suggesting that there is still that, I hesitate to say work to be done. I mean, we're always learning, we're always growing, or in this case, unlearning. But this is the idea of, we take the student aspect of the page and the action aspect of the knight, and instead of efforting or putting forth any kind of action in a yang outwardly sense, this is that invitation to go within, study your thoughts, study what's arising in your own internal landscape, and understanding that a different action can be taken in how you're relating to those. Case in point, if there is a thought about money, for instance, and money is a good subject because that's something that we all need to survive in this material realm. Nine of Pentacles there. Um, and if you're always thinking, I don't have enough money, I never have enough money, all these kinds of lack based thoughts, then maybe just instead of following through with that old played out narrative, you could just switch that to say, money is coming, or I always have the money that I need. And chances are, if you're watching this on some kind of device, then you have always had the money that you needed. Now, maybe it came late, or maybe it wasn't as much as you wanted, but the fact that you're here, the fact that you're able to hear this and perceive this and receive this tells me that you've always had enough and you always will. The universe is not lacking. The universe isn't on a budget. God isn't some kind of, God doesn't have a clipboard where they're saying, okay, uh, Ross didn't pray enough today, so we're not giving him this. That's not how the universe works. That's not how God, as I understand them, works. And this invitation of these two reversals is for that kind of thought retraining, or, with the case of the knight here, re-examining. And that is an active kind of thing. That's being aware of the thoughts and aware enough to discover the discomfort in them, and having that energy, eagerness, which we see here with the Knight of Wands here at the end, to have a different kind of thought about that. And like I said, this is all this internal work, Hermit. This is all this internal happenings that aren't really seen on the outside. But man, oh man, they are coming. Nine of Pentacles. So this is telling me that as you're able, and it's interesting that this is kind of coming in between these two reversed swords. Hmm. I'm just sitting with that for a moment. It's this idea that you are going to start seeing. I know sometimes these readings, maybe the ones that you find elsewhere on YouTube, are all about, something happening down the road or some alternative in the future. And like I say, in most of these videos, I don't claim to know the future. But if you're someone who has been doing this inner mind training, then you're going to start seeing the results of that. And chances are you already are. And when you see those results popping up, then the invitation there is not so much to rest on your laurels, but to be thankful, be in that state of abundance, of receivership, and go back. Go back to the mat in your mind and keep working at it. And this might require withdrawing. This might require changing a lot about how you're thinking and how you're behaving. Because if you're changing, and this is also something that isn't new, I'm not saying anything, earth shattering here, but the idea of, okay, if I am thinking that I've always had the money that I need, going back to that example, I've always had the money that I need, I've always been taken care of, the universe is not lacking. How does that person, what actions does that person take in the real life? It might be very, very different from where you are. Just, strictly speaking from a nervous system regulation point. Like if you were always walking around with your fists clenched and then all of a sudden, your fists are clenched because you're trying to fight everyone who comes to you. Every person that you see, every situation is a battle. And then one day someone tells you that you don't need to do that, or maybe you have that own internal realization because you have been doing that inner mental gymnastics, uh, and you just kind of realize that you can't be at war with anyone when you're seeking peace, and your fists loosen and the blood begins to flow, the tension dissipates, and what would you do with your hands then? What would you be doing in your life then? Same idea. If the mental work is working, and it is, I want to say that, I want to say that out loud, you would not be here, not only on this video, but here on this spiritual journey, if the mental work wasn't working. Lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? We were talking about abiding in abundance or acting as if. And just that idea of being a new kind of version of yourself, and it might take retreating and retrying and almost auditioning different versions of yourself. So I like to talk about spectrums. If you've had a conversation with me anytime, or maybe even it's come up in these videos, I like to think of life and all of its intricacies on a spectrum. So you've got lack on one side and universal abundance on the other. And you're deciding, how do I want to act in that? What's my new kind of action to be taken in that place? And so maybe you go full speed ahead, uh, using all of the eagerness and impetuousness of the fire knight here, Knight of Wands, and you go all the way over to abundant, and you're you're writing checks your wallet can't cash kind of idea here. And that can create its own kind of discomfort. So you back that away. You don't have to live in a lack mentality. You don't have to, rub pennies together, or I guess in this case, rub pentacles together to create that wealth. But there's some kind of middle ground, and you just keep trying it out until you land on something that feels true and safe and correct for you. And that is the action here. That is the outward action of acting as if, or embodying the wisdom that you have found in your mind when you step outside of those old thought patterns and programs of lack mentality and the like. And it just feels worth noting here. Knight of Wands can also suggest travel. We've got these, how are we going to do that? We've got these pyramids here. So maybe this isn't a change that can happen in your current location. There's that saying that goes, you can't heal where you've been hurt. And this could be a physical change. It might just be a new realm of your mind that you're exploring, a new dimension of your thoughts. Like, what would the thought of an abundant universe feel like in your body? What if conceptually realize the universe is abundant, God loves me, all that good stuff? That's easy. That's easy to put on a bumper sticker. I love bumper stickerisms, but it's very, very different when you feel it, when you believe it in your soma, in your body, in your being. So I invite you to feel into those spaces and places where you might be feeling some kind of resistance to, we'll keep going with money, but it doesn't have to be money, any kind of abundance, or any place where you see yourself in the near future or distant future, but you're not there yet. What is that tension between here and now and there and then. Is that how we'll say that? Here and now and there and then? Sure. Or, what is that tension? What is the tension behind that belief that I never have enough, that money is lacking, that I'll never have a six pack abs, or I'll never have a banging booty, or, whatever it is, where is that tension? Where does that tension live in your body? Maybe breathe into that like we do at the beginning, breathing into that space. Just for me, I'm feeling some kind of tension or sensation, like around the heart and the solar area. And wherever you find that tension, instead of the efforting of the Knight of Swords, just bring the gentle awareness of abundance, of love, of acceptance to that space. And you might yawn, or you might burp. Mm. And again, much like the reverse Knight here, we're not rushing into the absolute center of wherever that tension is. Bring yourself, bring your awareness, your breath awareness to the outermost edge of that sensation. And without doing or forcing or making anything happen, just allow your loving awareness, the awareness you share with your creator, however you define them, allow it to rest there with you. And just notice. Just notice. And I want to pull us out of that because I will get lost in the sauce and the sun's coming out, and that feels beautiful. I am being called to pull one of these sacred symbols. I got this deck uh, when I traveled to Cleveland one year for my birthday because nothing says a fun time like going to Cleveland. Actually, Cleveland was fine. I don't know why Cleveland gets such a bad rap. Um, but yes, I picked this up at a witch shop. Uh, and I can't remember the name, but if I think of it, I will link it below. And it's one of my faves. Love the color, but I am being called to pull one of these or whatever wants to come out. So, what symbol? What symbol can we give to the folks to know that? What symbol can we give to let them know that the mental work that they've been doing is working? Ooh, abundance. See what I'm talking about? Do we want them both? I should steam this. Okay. That was an inside thought. Shift, boom, what I tell you. Number 9 might be relevant. We're ending a 9-year cycle, or we just ended a 9-year cycle, I should say. And guides. 7. 97. What does that reduce to? 16, 7, right? 7. I just want to read these and see if there's anything else we can add here. 9, shift. This symbol is Dagaz, a Norse rune. It's the last rune of the Futhark, or Futark, uh, the oldest of the runic alphabets, and literally means day. The sun's coming out. Love it. This rune is a symbol of fulfillment and achievement, symbolizing the rebirth of the light in one's life. It is the rune of the awakening of the dawn and the day rise. Miracles, divine intervention, the end of stagnation, confirmation burp, and divine inspiration are here now. Drawing this card signifies an aha moment or sudden change in any situation that was stuck or blocked. A welcomed change or answer you have been seeking is here now. Maybe it's even in this video. Meditate on this symbol when you are feeling stuck, unsure of which way to go, or having a block creatively. And 7 guides. Paint blue is often seen on porches, doors, and ceilings. This practice was thought by the Gullah people to ward off and keep ghosts away from the house. The color was to mimic the appearance of the sky while tricking the ghosts into passing through, or to mimic the appearance of water, which ghosts traditionally could not cross. Probably because their sheets are dry clean only. Your guides and ancestors are calling to you now. They surround you with their love and protection and also offer you their wisdom. Allow these helping spirits into your world today. You are not alone. Meditate on this when you need assistance from your spiritual team. So, yeah, the shift is coming. The shift is here. That's the title of the video. The shift is here. And as you are deciding how you want to walk in this world now, what you want to put your fiery energy into, ask the guides, ask the ancestors, call in those ancestors who walk in the name of healing and the highest good. Let them show you, give you advice into which way to go. You know, we got to end with my boy Hafiz here. This one's going a little bit longer, but hey, it's my birthday. I can do what I want. I can also do what I want because this is YouTube. Well, I can't do whatever I want. There are things that I wouldn't want to do even if I could do them. Like drink eggnog or eat olives. Okay. Easy peasy, Georgian Wheezy. Offer up gratitude. Was that 5? Offer up gratitude. Offer up gratitude for, before we even see what my boy Fees wants to say, like offer up gratitude, yeah, to the ancestors, of course. We always want to thank the ancestors and those who walk in the name of healing and the highest good, because you wouldn't be here were it not for them. So as always, thank you to the ancestors, and also offer yourself some gratitude, because the retraining of your brain that you're doing, the reorienting of your nervous system that you're doing, the capitalistic society that we have agreed to live in does not support that at all. So kudos to you for stepping outside of that paradigm. And also kudos to you for, and gratitude, offering gratitude to yourself for actually choosing to do that, to step outside of the societal constraints that have been put on you, to say that you're not going to think this way anymore, that you're done thinking about lack, or about that relationship that didn't work out, or that job you didn't get, or all of these things that you could be using your mind to think about, but you are choosing to think differently. You're thinking happy thoughts like Peter Pan. And I'm offering gratitude to you for that. But let's see what Hafiz has to say, and we will wrap this up with that today. You're not going to be able to see this, but it's here. Offer up gratitude. I like when the dawn, or a tree, so touches my heart, my eyes fill with tears and thanks. Whatever is going on right now, give thanks for it. Even if it's a crisis that's stripped your heart bare. You can't see it now, but it's all happening for you. You've survived 100% of all of your blessings and traumas to date, and all of them have created a unique force field that wouldn't exist without your journey. And gratitude expands that force field. Use it to manifest a life of wonder. So go out there, little guy or gal, them. Go out there and manifest that world of wonder because you deserve it. You deserve it because you're retraining your brain, you're stepping out of the paradigms, you're not settling. And I'm in awe of that. And I am grateful that you're here. I'm grateful to know you. And I want to thank you for stopping by. We'll be back on Thursday, and I do these every Tuesday and Thursday, sometimes for a moon, sometimes on a whim, but that's the schedule I like to keep to. If you find value in these readings, my donation links are in the bottom. Always appreciated, never required. And until next time, my friends, I wish you nothing but peace, love, and happiness from this day forward. Take care.